SATV International Affairs. I'm Saluddin Sadi from Gulshan Studio Shirley, and today we have two distinguished guests in studio. We have Mr. Dr. Ali Ahmed, former member of National Board of Revenue, and welcome this show. And we have another distinguished guest, is a geopolitical correspondent of SATV and joined from Washington DC, Norman Flatburn.
Thank you.
Norman Flatburn, welcome to this show in this day, and we have some updates today. And I'd like to draw your attention in a specific point, especially U.S. Treasury Secretary says Washington is entering economic D-Day against Iraq. What updates, including these, what updates do you have for today's show?
Yes, good morning from Washington. Yes, today it's 4 a.m. here in Washington, D.C., and our government administration has announced a economic D-Day on Iran. What that means, we hopefully will find out today what economic sanctions, which our administration advises is going to be the most severe so far, will take place, and we're waiting to see how Iran respond to that. Preliminary information has indicated that Iran has mentioned that any country participating in this economic D-Day will have to deal with their Iran's response. That response could be both economic or some type of military action. So we don't know which one, how this thing going to happen, what's going to, how this week is going to unfold based on today's Monday here in the United States. But we do know that we have issues here in the United States with our neighbors up north, Canada. The sanctions started this weekend against Canada. Today, we're starting to see exactly what that means in terms of the people, in terms of goods and expenses, in terms of how our relationship and how the consumers here feel this. So next week, I believe the 8th of September, the Canadian administration will implement sanctions against the United States. So once again, we will see how the consumers will absorb this type of impact, and what actions will the two governments take in resolving this matter. So right now we're getting ready to watch for impact, economic impact here in the Western Hemisphere, and also in the Middle East and other parts of the world. Iran has also stated that the Strait of Hormuz will be closed for anyone who participated in this economic D-Day. So here we go, starting another week, more issues back and forth between the United States and Iran, while we're having natural disaster issues in Nevada here in the United States. 90,000 people has been evacuated from Reno because of wildfires. So we talked about the war, we talk about the sanctions, but we also have to deal with Mother Nature. Right now, Mother Nature is starting to wake up and cause issues around, particularly the United States, around the world. There's also a hurricane putting a lot of water, a lot of rain in Hawaii. Honolulu is looking for record downfalls of rain as a result of this hurricane. So that's Monday. That's how we starting the day here. We're waiting to see exactly what this so-called economic D-Day entails.
Okay, well, I want to mention the Iran part. Is they know they are addressing this thing, that a known movie by USA. They're addressing this thing that we know this movie as a about the sanction.
Yes, that's you mentioned movie. They understand that we've seen this before. More rhetoric, more talk, more communications, but little performance and little action. So we'll see exactly what this means and how how the world is going to respond to these two parties fighting back and forth the sanctions. As we know, the sanctions against the country affects the rest of the world. So again, the consumers and the rest of the world is absorbing this battle we have between the United States and Iran.
Thank you very much, Mr. Norman. We had looked to come to the studio and hear our distinguished the guest, Dr. Ali Ahmed, former member of NBR. Thanks again. I would like to throw the same question to you. As USA is entering to the economic D-Day against Iran, what is going to be the consequences of?
Well, the consequences are still unseen, but knowing Trump and his actions so far, not only here, from his coming to power, the accidental though I should
from
say.
The very beginning.
From the very beginning, it is a farce. Of course, this farce has a price for Iran or the suffering countries to pay.
Exactly.
But I think Iran has been tolerating, has been living with this American torture so long, and have so far stood its grounds. And America practically is defeated in the war, and so they gave up the direct war, all types, aerial warfare, landing of people, and then blockade.
But Trump is claiming Hormuz Strait as their
territory. Territory. So there is a Bengali proverb, when a madman can say anything. Okay. So he does that. Nobody believes it. How can it be his territory? He talked about many countries his territory, the Greenland, and then then Canada.
Canada as well.
And even today or yesterday, it also was shown that Canada the Canadian Prime Minister came for a trade talk when it is declared that there would be an enhancement of trade. So there was discussion between these two, and it did succeed. Naturally, it cannot with Donald Trump, and he has gone away. And he says that there would be 100% or 50% increment of taxes on all goods. So did the Canadians said the same thing. Now the TV scrolls show very interestingly that the Canadians feel that they would be benefited if they were a 51st state of the United States. These are a madman's raving, I am afraid. So he has, yes, but it will definitely cause some sufferings, more sufferings. But this trade barrier or the sanctions has been running for Iran for many years now.
Yeah.
And it has not, yes, it is harming them, true, no denying that. But they are standing their grounds, and I am sure they will also weather this rainy season further. There would be no D-Day, there would be only a day of defeat for Donald Trump when he goes out of his office. I am not sure when he does. He might even land in jail finally because of the legal problems he already has created in the United States. I also keep a close track of what has been taking place in the European and the American courts. But this he doesn't care, it seems. Let us see what happens. But all those who understand and talk on this on podcasts and everything, they say that why don't you now stop the war? And he feels that it would be a matter of prestige for him. So he says, fighting it another way, D-Day.
Okay.
So let us see how his D-Day comes. D might also stand for defeat for him.
Yeah.
That is what I feel.
Exactly. And do you think that the real scenario is going to be like this? What Iran actually says the known movie it is that was before.
The movie, when it's a farce, it's not a serious movie at all.
Exactly.
This sort of farce he has been doing not only with Iran, with many countries, and we know the results. He make himself more and more ludicrous by doing this. So this is a movie they have been very kind to call it. This is a farce.
Exactly. And then at the same time, Iran actually considering as their enemy who is allying with US.
Those who do not follow this US decision of boycotting freshly, boycotting Iran, will be considered his enemy, and he will also sanction them and bring war to their doorsteps and all that. He says, but as we have seen so far, in his first term and especially the second term, we know it is all going to be, as it is said, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Nothing.
That is what it is going to be.
Exactly.
No, I don't give him any importance to what he says.
Okay, I would like to draw your attention to another news, that is Pakistan's army chief to visit Iran.
I think he already has gone there.
Exactly, today. Today. So is there any significance of that
visit?
There
might be, yes, because this Iran and US thing, the Pakistan first proposed and then it was accepted by both the parties, and there has been a series of meetings, and finally, there was a ceasefire giving 60-day period that you will sort out the rest of the problems. But the 60-day expired and nothing was agreed upon between these two countries. So they again resumed bombing and all those things. Now the Pakistanis know, because they also want to be in the prominence, and it's also needed. Iran is friendly to them, so is the United States, especially now that there is a de facto army rule, because it is not the Prime Minister, it is the Chief of Army Staff who has come there.
Exactly.
He has no diplomatic role in the world, open, but in Pakistan the case is different. So he has come here. I think he will try some diplomatic meeting, etc. That is the only way, and I wish him success, because Donald Trump will definitely agree after a few persuasions, because he has a sense of prestige after all. And Iran always says, yes, you can come and discuss, and we will accept if it is acceptable. So let us see, but I think he has gone for this diplomatic effort.
Do you think that in near future we are getting a free Hormuz Strait?
This problem?
Yeah.
It's very difficult to say, because
is there any possibility or is there any sign of having that very?
Trump's actions do not come with any signs or anything. He might suddenly say, yes, stop it, and let's go to conquer the Everest, for example.
Yeah.
This man's raving. So he might do this, but he might also continue with this. But his voter base is very much slowing down. The present condition, as they show on the TV screens, the younger generation of the Americans are all against him, especially his support for Israel. And they say, the sensible Americans ask, why should we die in this war? Why should we spend our money? Because what has happened between Iran and us? Why should we fight Iran? There has been no problem. It was Netanyahu of Israel who has persuaded him. He could not pursue previous presidents. He tried everyone. And this time when this president agreed and started, Netanyahu made loud-throated announcement, I have been trying this for 40 years long, now it has started. But nothing has come out of it, except Israel has also suffered grievously during this war. So I don't know where it's going to end. But Iranians have suffered, but as judging them from their past activities and their past resolve, I believe they will suffer all right, but they will not give in. They will not give in at all.
Do you think that the role of UN or other international organizations can be questioned?
I tell you one thing, you know it, you are a highly educated man. The executive body of the United Nations is the Security Council.
Yeah.
And you know it. The Security Council cannot go into any action if there is a veto.
Yeah.
And USA has a veto.
Veto.
It is in the war itself, and it is with Israel always, since its beginning, inception in 1948. So, you do not know what is happening. Probably the last meeting I saw, they were against any settlement any time. So, unless America agrees, the rest four of these vetoing countries cannot do anything. Only one veto is enough to scuttle any decision.
Any decisions.
So
Actually, the international organization, especially UN, actually paralyzed with the veto.
yes. So when we were younger, we would say, what is the use of having a like this? Still, I think it has some social functions, other functions. But also America has withdrawn from all these things, UNICEF and everything. They have withdrawn from this. But still the rest of the world is there. And there it is at least a sort of a caucus, a get-together of the world leaders, the whole world, so to say. They can discuss, and it may not stop, and the veto might stop its function, but there is condemnation. Israel and the rest of the world knows that the whole world is against what Israel is doing and America is supporting. That has a value.
Exactly.
I think that is why, although it is paralyzed, not because of its inaction, it's paralyzed because of the system.
Exactly.
Still, let us enjoy the debate.
Exactly, and let us be hopeful little bit. Okay, we are taking a short break. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Panto.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them,
testing nuclear missiles,
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen,
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
they will face better projects.
With presidency of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
Simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital.
Affairs. Now we would like to go again and listen again our geopolitical correspondents John from Washington DC, Norman Fredburn. Norman Fredburn, if you listen to me, I would like to draw your attention on the fact that the US hits Canadian goods with 50% tariff after trade fails, and same things done by Canada. And what is going to be the consequences of this decision?
Yes, this is we're looking at a situation where the actual my father used to say, "Well, this is going to hurt me more than it hurt you." The actions the U.S. feel is justifiable because of the lack of trade communications with Russia. With Canada. So the U.S. is imposing a 50% tariffs on goods and services coming in from Canada. Canada response is they're going to do a equal tariffs on the United States. This will hurt the United States. It will severely impact Canada and its economy, but the United States, I think, will suffer more because we are so dependent of our neighbor to the north on a lot of things that we use every day, goods and services, anything from paper, wood, steel, things that we utilize as a consumer every day, will now become more costly, and some cases we will have to do without So the suffering in terms of consumers having access to or having the ability to pay for these things is now going to come to a term to which we call frustration, more frustration with the current administration as we go into the season of midterm election. So the citizens, the people have a long memory, and now they are going to feel it as we go to the polls to vote on who we choose to govern us in terms of Congress. It's not going to be a good taste. It's not going to be a good feel. We're talking about economic D-Day. Well, that D-Day may be on the shores of the United States. We talk about what we're going to do overseas, but at the same time, we inflict what we call punishment. Now, I see where the citizens are going to have to absorb that pain and suffering here in the United States, and the administration will be impacted on that because the quality of life is now diminishing, and the issue with the consumers here, I'm talking about the consumers, the average day people, their ability to pay is now intertwined with the current administration foreign affairs, how they deal with things. And since January, we have not have a positive bit of news in regards to the economy, cost of living, and way of life. Nothing has improved. Everything has diminished, has increased, and the people will, well, the people are frustrated in terms of dealing with that. And you will see coming in the next short time, couple months, on how frustrated the United States citizens are with the current administration. Yes, there's polls about we don't believe that we should be fighting this war, but more importantly, we have an internal war we're dealing with. Basically, it's now the citizens against the current administration, and we will see how that turns out, what that means in terms of our international affairs, and more importantly, our domestic relationship with our own government.
Okay, I want to know about the thinking of American people. Do you think the people think that the decision, reciprocal tariff, imposing reciprocal tariff from around the world around the world, was justified by US over Washington? Do you think people believe that is justified?
The citizens, the people. It amazes me that the administration, it appears that they're coming from another world. They feel that we impose things that we feel important, like sanctions and certain things in other countries. They're going to feel the pain. Yes, they're going to feel the pinch, but they don't live on American standards. The standards we have here is not. It's going to affect the situation in Iran. It's not going to affect what's happening in the UK. It's not going to affect what happened in Bangladesh. Each country, each region has its own issues, and basically we're looking through a glass, a rose-colored glass, that everyone is like us in here in the United States, and it's not. When I say us, I mean the administration, even our people. It appears that the administration lives in a different world than the average person. They don't have to worry about which bill do I pay, which do I buy gas or do I buy medicine? They don't have that issues, but the average people is reaming this pain and suffering. It's a lot of suffering, it's a lot of sacrifice. And the question is, why are we sacrificing for an administration who don't believe us, don't understand what we're about, don't understand the world, don't understand what effects it's having on the world? They appear to be working in a isolated bubble while the rest of the world, including the people of the United States, are not absorbing this well. The quality of life is there, is diminishing. So the only thing that the citizen here can do is appoint and respond on the vote, the vote, to show how pissed off they are. Right now, the American people are very pissed off on the way and the manner which the administration is governing domestically and dealing with relationships internationally. It appears that every time we do something to inflict sanctions and pain and tariffs or whatever to someone else, another country, to try to change their mind, which is not going to happen, the American people, consumers, suffer. That
Okay.
is getting old, very old.
Okay, now another things I would like to know from you, that is, do you think that this type of tariff war will hamper the free trade agreement between US, Mexico and Canada?
Yes, it has already. Right now, now the relationship, the long-standing relationship we have with the North, Canada, the relationship, the concept now of these tariffs and what's done is creating bad relationship, and unfortunately, trust has left. The trust is not there. There's no trust for Canada. Canada has no trust for the U.S. government. Mexico obviously do not have any trust for the United States current administration, and now Venezuela, Colombia, Cuba, all down South America, and the rest of the world is starting to say, "Hey, we need to have alternatives. We need to do different things a different way because we can't trust our big brother to look after us." So right now, what you're seeing, we're talking. Everyone is looking for alternatives. The dependency of the United States to help them and come to their services is now gone, and the trust is now being questioned. So everybody's making their own deal now. They can't depend on the United States, and now the administration has to understand that the people we're governing is now feeling the same way.
Okay, now for last thing, I would like to know from you, that is, U.S. judge strikes down policy suspending immigrant visa processing for 75 countries, including Bangladesh. And my question to you is, do you think is there any impact of that very strike on the U.S. policy or Washington decision?
Well, the policy is another attempt by the current administration to control the narrative. And unfortunately, it's like running out in the wind, a windstorm, with a fork trying to control the wind. It's not going to happen. Yes, you're out there, you're trying, you're doing this and that, but the wind, the rain, the storm, and everything is still happening. So every time we try to control the situation, it intensifies and becomes more and more prominent. So again, we're trying to control the immigrants coming in. Well, the immigrants, believe it or not, are the ones working. They're the ones doing the jobs that other people don't want. So we don't have people to work. We don't have people to, the people out working can't afford to what they're doing. And the administration is expecting us to basically understand this and endure this going on. But while right now, the quality of life is slowly diminishing, and the people are now questioning their elected officials.
Thank you very much, Mr. Norman. We would like to go to our another distinguished guest, Dr. Ali Ahmed. The same thing I would like to ask you. That is, USA hit Canadian goods with 50% tariff after trade talks. Same things happen done by Canada.
Well, yes. This is called tariff war.
Tariff war, exactly.
In fact, after the Second World War, the discussions were going on during the war, at the end of the war. But after the end of the war, there were discussions with among the great leaders, the victors, the Allied forces, to establish three institutions: the United Nations organization, and then International Monetary Fund, and the International Trade Organization. International Trade Organization, these other two, with all its defects and everything, have been established and running. But WTO, World Trade Organization, could not be established at the time because of the American problem that was always there. So it was going on whims. I would suggest some percentage, others would. That was not a good thing. Then finally, President Kennedy, during his short span, he established this In fact, it was done before, but he did the first round of discussions. It was GATT, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. So under the GATT, the GATT signing countries, they said that this would be the GATT decided what would be the rates of duties, and that is what it is. But then finally, in 1995, the present WTO, World Trade Organization, was established with Brussels as its headquarters. And this has been going on. Different rounds going on, discussions going on, yearly meetings going on. And there was always an attempt at that time, till the 90s, to reduce duties, because reduction of duties means better trade. And that is good for, trade is good for both the buyer and the seller. Ultimately, it benefits the consumers, the general people. And it also benefits the state, because more trade and more revenue. So that was the ideal, and that has been going on. But then there was a problem with these developed countries led by especially the United States. What happened is, as you know, before that I tell you, or rather I tell for our listeners and audience to know, that trade between two countries is governed by under the rules of the WTO, but Trump, on assuming power of presidency of the United States, just threw it to the four winds, and there is no rule following now. Although the organization is there and everything is there, he is doing at his own whims. The problem is, very simply put, what tariff means. Tariff means the charges I impose on importation of certain goods or services from another country, and the same thing applies. Normally it is
this is reciprocal
among same for both countries. When one party, one country, any country goes to enhance it and the others also enhance it, why should they pay only and not get? So that is called tariff war, and this has now been going on. He has been starting it. Problem is, these trade agreements, these are done through trade agreements. When the WTO was said, agreements are universal. Before that, it was between countries or group of countries, etc. The trade agreement always tried to reduce trade for all, but then there is a question of giving protection to local industries and all that. So you raise trade so that it can work behind the tariff wall, but that has proven self-defeating. But anyway, this is the ideal. So thing is, if you raise your tariff, my goods cannot enter your country without paying a this. So what does it mean really? So tariff creates or obstructs or diverts trade. Supposing there is a trade between you and me, and there is X rate of duty. If you impose X plus 1 in our trade, so other countries who are still getting X will come to me. That means it creates trade diversion. Trade between these two countries are lessened when there is a rise, and other countries will come. So we will have trade with other countries.
Do you think in that way American businessman or business?
No, but there are certain things that yes, they have been suffering, and the Supreme Court has ordered. After Donald Trump did it, you might not have followed it, but we did. He ordered, and it was being followed for a pretty long time, and it took a substantial, quite a few months, I should say, for the Supreme Court to finally decide by 9-0. There are only 9 judges in the Supreme Court. 9-0 decision. That means all the justices of the Supreme Court of US said that the President of the United States has no authority to raise or to impose or to do anything with duty. That is the function of the Congress. So it was done away with. And
but Donald Trump is not caring about.
No, but then Supreme Court also ordered that the money taken from different countries in the form of this unauthorized duty collected from them, any and all countries, have to be refunded, and fund is being kept for this. It has to be refunded because there is no authority above the Supreme Court of US about this and many other things. So the thing is, when this is raised and he has no authority, there will be litigation against Trump. He cannot do this. It has already been decided by the the Supreme Court of the United States. This only creates problems for the people, for the countries, for the United States included. Its own consumers suffer because if they raise, so Canada has done. Canada supplies a lot of gas and fuel, especially gas from Canada to US. If they raise duty there, they will, definitely, they have already. So it will cost more to the American producers, consumers.
Exactly.
So people will buy things at a higher cost, higher price. The whole of the world suffers, including the Americans. And so there is dissatisfaction in America also, very serious. Trade diversion, when there is, if you raise your taxes, I'll go to other countries, others will come to me.
Exactly.
And if you lower it, I'll go. So that is why under the WTO, it was uniform for all. If you charge the duty, it should be equally. Say there is a trade agreement between X and Y. And if it is say 10%, this without any agreement, this 10% would be equally applicable to all the rest of the world. That was the WTO principle. This is a principle of the WTO. Now this has all been thrown to the four winds, and he is doing it. He will again, it will take time, but the Supreme Court will again say that you cannot do it, and it will be declared ultra vires of the Constitution. So that is it.
Thank you very much. We will taking another short break. The viewers, we are taking another break. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Panto.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them,
testing nuclear missiles,
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen,
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks,
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
with presidency of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital.
Welcome back for the last time to SATV International Affairs, and we have that we have a distinguished guest, Dr. Ali Ahmed, former member of NBR. You are just telling that U.S. President doesn't have the authority to
impose or to enhance or to reduce taxes.
But again and again he's doing.
Yes. That is what we watch and what we see.
How does it possible, and how?
That reminds me of the famous saying in English again, fools rush in where angels fear to treat.
Exactly.
So he is doing that again and again. He is now working under the order of the Supreme Court, the last, and the United States' Treasury is returning money to the importers who did it under his enhanced taxes now. So he can do it because fools rush in, as I said. It's very difficult to comment on him. He's the president of the most powerful country in the world. So he's the most powerful man, and we should be respectful about a president. But the actions he has taken so far and the words he has said so far, whatever he has done, it does not command any respect. It is absolutely idiotic and foolish. Not to talk of the breaking of law, because breaking of law or the breach of law might happen even in very important learned people's hands. Everybody is not expert about anything. So he knows these things very well, and already about this duty thing, there is a clear judgment. There are, I told you, 9 judges in the Supreme Court. So 9-0 gave the verdict, the 100% judges that the United States only the court is the authority to decide on this. Actually, it is done under the WTO, World Trade Organization,
Exactly.
among countries after long of discussions. I had the good fortune of attending at least one such meeting. So I know how things happen. The president of any country, they may give instruction to their delegation at home or can send it there, but the decision is taken after discussions among the member countries. No president can do it. He cannot. It has already been decided. It is there in the law. They just cannot.
Exactly. The same thing that I have thrown to Norman Flatburn. Will this kind of trade war will hamper the free trade agreement between US, Mexico, and Canada?
Free trade agreement does not exist. When you break to break it and say I give 50%, 100%, that means he's throwing away. As I said, throwing it to the four winds. Free trade agreement is not there with the USA as so far as Donald Trump is there. When he goes, there might be again fresh discussions and all that. All other agreements are gone when you say something, and he has no authority to do it. That is the thing.
Exactly. Okay. Another things I would like to that I have already mentioned before. US just strike down policies suspending immigrant visa processing for 75 days. Do you think this will have any impact as Donald Trump is president?
It has an impact, definitely, because in the USA, these normal people, immigrants, the poorer, less educated, etc., they used to go because they would earn something which would be good for a poor country.
Exactly.
And if they cannot go, and if they do not go, there would be problems in the poorer countries. Economic conditions would be bad. But the problem would also be in the USA, because there are low-grade jobs that the US citizens don't like to do. The cleaning woman or man is from the third world country. I have seen it with my own eyes there. So they are also having their problems. They have to hire people where cleaning is needed, and all those needed. Either it remains garbage or they pay higher pay, which means the prices of goods and services go up, which means suffering to the consumers, and export also becomes costlier. So US suffers, as does the rest of the world. So if you have a wild elephant in a China shop, what happens? It breaks everything.
Exactly.
He is like a bull. In English, they call it a bull in a China shop.
Yeah.
So he is like a bull. He is breaking all these ceramic products, breaking the whole rules of the world.
All the decorations and everything.
Yes, everything. So that is what it is.
Last question: is there any possibility of de-dollarization in
it is going
this
on.
time?
It is going on.
Powered by BRICS, or
it is going on. It has to go on because the time for American supremacy is gone. Same situation was with the Brits.
Exactly.
The previous centuries were the Brit centuries. But their leaders, none of the leaders was as foolish as he is. They knew what to do. They felt very bad. They did whatever they could do. The so-called, gunboat diplomacy, like Trump. But they knew how to vacate. Even I have read it. When the Civil War in America was taking place in 1865, America was rising very fast, Britain was falling behind. They actively considered joining the Southern Army, that is south of USA. In that case, the Civil War would be in favor of them, and America would be two countries. They would not be very powerful. The idea was that they would not overtake USA. But finally, good senses prevailed, and they did not do that. So America is a one country. But the American leaders, this one, there are mistakes in many leaders. Think of Nixon. He committed a crime. He did these things about election, and time came that he would be thrown out. And his advisor said that please resign, and so he resigned and went out. But this man listens to nobody also. So he will not have the good sense of resigning. Time for him to resign came long before. Therefore, I foresee a time when he will not just go out after this term, he will also go to jail.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ali Ahmed, former member of NBR, and thank you very much, Norman Flatburn, geopolitical correspondent from Washington, D.C. And today is 24th of August, and this day is very remarkable for officially entering into force NATO 1949, and this day is very significant for that. And that's all from today, and thank you for being with us.